Well, hi and welcome. I want to go through the arrangement for this piece, Lili Boulanger's "Ils m'ont assez opprimé de ma jeunesse." First, I want to talk about why I chose this song, what it means to me. The early 20th century is my favorite period of classical music. I've always loved like the heavy metal classical music, like Carmina Burana and The Rite of Spring. Always liked Holst's The Planets, that sort of stuff. And somehow through the algorithm, I got introduced to Boulanger, and maybe it's just recency bias or something, but I think I found my favorite composer of all time here. Everything that she's done is either gorgeous or awesome and powerful or both, and I think this is one of those. So this song this piece does have a full orchestral score, which I decided not to use for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't want to have like a literal one-to-one translation of this part gets played this way. It was more I wanted to be like a real reinterpretation, where it was true to the song as much as possible or appropriate, but also it was more just like the same vibe, but in my style. Also, not all the instruments are in concert pitch. I know some French, but the language was difficult enough that it was just really not worth it using the full score. Fortunately, there is a kind of vocal score that has, I guess it's supposed to be like a piano reduction that an accompanist would be playing in rehearsal or something. And I was going by ear. I just mostly needed to know like what notes are those, and I could find them in the score. So let me go ahead and get to that so that I can start showing you. Here we go. What are these notes? How am I interpreting them? And first off, let's just go with the fact that I've called this section one. That's not in the score, that's me because the way that I worked on this was pretty slow. I'd only get to like a section at a time. And so, whether it was by accident of just me working on this specifically for a while before I, came back to it, or let's just say it was on purpose. I gave every section its own character. Every section has like this kind of mood or um, has its own identity to me. And so this one, I mean, why not? It's the beginning. We'll just call it the intro. It's the first six measures. Here's how I'm presenting this. If there is a part that kind of closely mirrors or at least follows something that is like in the score, I've tried to identify as such. So like, for example, we've got these power chords here that are in the bottom, and they sound like this. Just nice low power chords. No, I'm not muted. Let's see. Why is this not playing? There we go. Okay. A power chords. There we go. Yay! Laser pointer. Okay, yeah. So that's just following that just straight up power chords. Straight from the score. I'm sure it's what, low strings were playing in the orchestra. There is a bass. This is one of the few sections that actually has a bass guitar in it. I have a fretless bass. Right there. Anyway, it doesn't necessarily all that good for playing metal with all the time, but this section it seemed to work pretty well in. The power chords and that bass, just kind of lay the foundation for this section. And then you'll notice there's this little transition here where it builds, and that sounds like this, like a reversed power chord to fade in. Right? Okay, yeah, that's where the metal's coming in. But the real focus, the real treat for this section are these gorgeous four-part harmonies, stacked thirds, like major seventh chords, minor seventh chords, all that stuff. And in order to play these, I've made what I've kind of called like a guitar chorus, where I would play each note individually. I'd record it dry and then sort of creatively reamp and pan it for space and for tone. So just to give you an idea what I mean, here's what the main thing sounds like the lead sound for it. So lots of vibrato all over those notes, neck pickup, all that stuff. And that is my guitar chorus. You may be able to tell some of the notes are panned left, some of them are panned right. And to increase the atmosphere, increase the ambiance, I've taken those same notes, right, the same dry tracks, and ramped them through softer, like warmer. We'll hear, have a listen. Some are panned left, some panned right. This is just for atmosphere. Same notes. Let's see. That's C sharp right there for that A major. All right, cool. So hopefully you've got the idea of how the logic of this, how I'm showing what I'm showing. I'm not going to play every single part. That would just be long and boring. I'm just trying to show you how I made my arrangement decisions. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. Um, I'm not just showing you like, which notes I'm playing on which instruments. I'm also say if you prefer the original version, which I'm sure you probably do. I really really dug into this. I really love this piece, and I've just got so much to say and so many thoughts on it. I've got to get it out somehow. So I guess this is how I'm doing it. And want to show like, oh, here's how I made this part happen, and also perhaps with apology, here's why I made this creative choice or took this creative liberty. All right, anyway, so the measures are up here. We've just finished the intro and we're leading to the first time where there's actually like some drums, some like actual percussion. Less parts because the gain is up now, and more parts means, harder to blend. The bass, very uninteresting here. Right. So no need even to listen to the rest of it. It's just the bottom note that you see here, mostly whole notes and half notes and quarter notes. It's not even actually a bass. It is the lowest note I'm just playing on a guitar, and that's pitch shifted down and reamped like a bass. I do that uh one again because fretless bass not necessarily the right instrument for this, but also because if I'm playing a part that needs guitar and bass, doing it with the same instrument, just same performance, it blends great. Anyway, power chords finally on a hotter tone, higher gain, I mean. Drop G. Now here we're going to back off a bit, going from the bridge pickup to the neck pickup. All right, so like we kicked the door down, and now we're just kind of like sitting down at the table and leaning back a little bit, like, yep, now we're here. All right, so the melody now, I'm reducing it. It's still four parts in the score, but four parts at higher gain is not going to blend so well. So I've reduced it to two. Excuse me, just being judicious here. I've got the root and the fifth in the bass already. So the next notes would be the third and the seventh. So this is like a full minor seventh chord. So I've gone with the F and the C there. Higher gain, still, vibrato and everything. One's panned left, one's panned right. And now I'm trying to have the notes be like kind of like slinky a bit. You'll feel it once it plays. Right. All right, backing off again. All right, now we're about to transition to another section, which means I am going to have a little tonal shift here where I'm going to again switch to the bridge pickup, and we're, about to announce my intention to be just a bit more like intense. Yeah. All right. So this section is called mild because it only gets hotter from here. After mild comes medium. This is measures 19 to 24. And we're just increasing in intensity. Previously, we had neck pickup and all that. Now we're sitting on a low C. Ace isn't doing anything interesting. Didn't even need to hear that. But here I've got uh this is quad track, so I've got bridge pickup both sides, neck pickup both sides. I think it's a really nice rich blend. I feel like I'm talking about coffee. It sounds like this. Just low C, right? And then down to B flat, back up to C. Right. So we're like going down, down, down. We're going down into something darker, something deeper, something worse. And I definitely want to bring that feeling into the next section. But right now, we went from four voices in the intro to two voices in mild, now in medium, down to just one voice. And it's supported. Here's the main voice on the bridge pickup. This is a half whole, half whole. Again, descending, descending, descending. I'm switching that pickup for some tremolo because I'm trying to give some black metal vibes. Supporting that, I do have that same line played on the neck pickup, and I've got some open strings, like the notes kind of like rub against each other. This also has just like the pickup coming from the last section here that'll play. There we go. All right, so there's a third voice in that tremolo. We're heading down into the spider's nest, going into some pit down to hell or something. I don't know. Let's see what we're headed to. After mild comes medium, and after medium, of course, comes hot. So measures 25 to 30 looking here. We went from C, which is a nice, drop C metal chord. Yeah, now down to drop A. So we're and that just gives me, all the permission to just hang out on that on the bass. Now there are two things that the guitar way down low is doing. One of them just nice sonorous neck pickup, just setting up the space, nice big glacial dark. And that's all good. But along, with the depth intensity comes some rhythmic intensity. And so this other one gets just a little genty. There's like some triplets here in this measure that's a good like chunk chunk chunk. And the end here, we have the first of several epic, gnarly, nasty builds. And so we're going to accentuate that rhythmically, just like this. So yeah, just build, 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 because we're about to get to a cliff. But before we get there, this is also very nasty. And there's this part that I have that the only way that I can think to describe it is swamp monster. It just supposed to look like a walking abomination of sludge that's just coming to absorb you. And it actually is these four notes. This is probably impossible to actually play on guitar, but then again, I'm replacing an orchestra, so I don't care. So those four notes all being reamped together, which sounds like this, which goes great over that low A. And a little bit more open. Right. So that's that build. That's all rhythm so far. The lead line, remember that it was leading down like tremolo. Like I think that's kind of like a black metal thing, right? I don't know. I'm just a teacher. So this lead line continuing with the tremolo, just one single note. And then that does become part of the lead. Let me just skip there. All right, so what is that epic lead leading to? Of course, that's leading to the first part where there is singing. Right, all that. So here is where I start being taking some more departure from the score. Musically, it's just three big chords: D minor, C major, B flat major. So rather than playing them as notated, I'm just playing them the way that I would play chords. And so, of course, bass in the bottom, it does have the guitar. The guitar note that is pitch shifted down, that's also layered in there for thickness, but also because I like to outline my chords at the bottom and at the top. It's almost like putting eyeliner on them or something, just kind of like accentuates the outline. And so there's the bottom. Here's the top of it. These are the thirds. Like for D minor, that'd be F. Maybe that's E. Maybe it's E. And I phrase them that way because the way that I like to play my chords is spread triads. D, A, F. Right. So the bottom note of that chord gets reinforced. The top note of that chord gets reinforced. It's nice, heavily outlined chord. But I also want this to be massive. So I have filled that in on the neck pickup with some more, extensions like ninths and stuff like that. Sounds like this. Sharp 11 in there from that B flat. And then also, why not nice big meaty power chords? Yum. All right, now I am not the kind of guitarist who can play these quick lines like that. That's not me. So instead, I just had that be a drum fill. I mean, I can program that my drummer's perfect. He's a computer. And vocally, I've got some harmonies that I'm adding here. Sounds like this.
Il manda ses opprimés dès ma jeunesse.
The dissonant harmony here.
Qu'Israël dise.
Get back to the guitar parts here. Bigger harmonies now.
Il manda ses opprimés
Embellish the melody.
dès ma jeunesse.
Fourth harmony.
Mais ils ne m'ont pas vainqueur.
Inhale, scream on that. That's again for like noise and aggression and ambience and all that stuff. But yeah, inhale, scream on that. So these other sections, right? Like these chords, basically the same as these chords. What's happening on Qu'ils, laboreurs? I almost wanted it to sound like the whole like band just collapsed, just like. So let's hear what is this doing here. Second. Here we go. He's triple. Lisando. Lisando gets replaced with that harmonic scrape. Thank you, Gujira. There we go. I think this one has some tritones in there because they are in the voicing that they be diminished. I think that's here. Yeah. I love this line. Mais ils ne m'ont pas vaincu, but they have not vanquished me, or they have not yet they have not prevailed against me, King James. But the note that they have in the score here is fier, proud. It's like, yeah, and just wanted that to be like ultimate, just like right there. All right, cool. So you'll notice there's a breath mark, a sudden stop. In the score, this next section really pulls back. And I tried doing it like that, but it just felt like all the energy got sucked out of the song. So instead, I thought, okay, I've got to move forward, but not aggressively. So I just picked a different mood. In this case, it's a little more like, I don't know what word to use. The vibe that I was getting here was something kind of like that Sam Smith song. It's got kind of like a bassy shuffle. And so I went ahead and did this on a synth. And because it's not metal time right now. It's not metal time, so the gains backed off on these power chords. It's just a growl now. Yeah, still guitar. It's just not that in your face. It can kill. Hold on. And it does that one little lead up into the next section. The higher guitars are really what I'm happy about here. So if you notice this, B flat C F, that's like it's like a sus2 chord. If you rearrange the octaves on that, though, it can be stacked fourths. Stacked fourths have this really cool kind of like maybe jazzy, but also just kind of like bizarre, almost non-musical quality. They just sound uh I don't know how to describe it here. You listen to it. You tell me what you think. How can you tell me this is a video? Anyway, so here's one voicing on that. That one I'm kind of describing as like a warm, soft tone. This one's more icy, maybe icy and atmospheric. I think I hit play. Also as the pick, like, and in keeping with those stacked fourths, because I'm just doing like, half notes, it's lost all of its rhythmic, there's like triplets here that I'm not doing. And so in order to kind of bring that back in with the stacked fourths, I just arpeggiated those fourths with a marimba sound. Sounds like this. I wanted it to be like in the texture. Hopefully you also hear that like that airy synth that's like in there. There's a low one that kind of boom, boom, that kind of swells in. Maybe you can hear that. Here we go. And in keeping with the fourths, I also put fourths harmonies on the vocals. All of this, just stacked fourths. I just love that. And so if I'm singing an F there, that means below that there's a C and then also a G. The lower it gets, the lower the volume is because I do want the melody to really stick out. But here you go.
Des laboreurs ont laboré mon
Stacked
dos.
fourths, even if it's out of the key.
Ils y ont tracé de larges sillons.
I even have like a B natural in there to keep with the fourths, and that's like not even in the key. One last touch on this. There is like a kind of call and response thing here, right? Des laboreurs ont laboré mon dos. Ba, ba. And at first I tried that on guitar. I couldn't really make it work on the second one. So I went back and I think I got it okay, piano and voice. So it sounds like this. Now, because the next one overlaps with Sion, I modified the vowel. All right, next section. Absolutely gorgeous. It just opens up. It's like, if you're flying through clouds, this is where you break above the clouds and you're just hit with brilliant sunlight. And this is also where I took the largest departure from the original score. I was thinking about it like if I was making a bluegrass version, this is where the hoedown would be. So this is where I was like, okay, I want this to be just the biggest, brightest, most prog metal riff thing that I could think of. And so that's what I did. So here is just the riff by itself, bass and guitar. Let's drop it. Right, to support that on the low notes, it got like couple little power chords, and then the second half it really brightens up and comes out. Sounds like this. Right, so that's good for low to kind of fill that out. I've got some chords up high that are filling in, like whether this is major or minor or whatever. And to increase the atmosphere of that, I put them an octave up and then also put them through like a more atmospheric tone. So you're hearing same notes but doubled in octaves and a little bit more airy higher up. All right. So not can't have a song that's just all rhythm parts. In the second half, I do kind of like highlight the third of those chords. So I'm calling that lead because I don't know what else to call it. It's lead guitar, sure. Oh, I forgot to mention it introduces itself with a little lead in the end of the second measure here was at measure 51. And the keys also pick that up in guitar. And then I add in some organ, one, just because organ sounds gorgeous, but also it fills up so much space, almost kind of makes it sound heavenly. And yeah, yeah. Whether we're talking 70s prog rock or I don't know, modern stuff, I just love organ. So piano starts off. Right. Last up, just hear the harmonies on that. It needs to be big, so lots of harmonies on it. Here's what it sounds like. L'Éternel.
L'éternel est juste.
Change the note length.
Il a coupé les cordes du méchant.
All right, so there we change to a scream because of what the next section is. And oh my goodness, the next section, I love it so much. I call it Godzilla because we have been going down and down and down, and suddenly it's down and it starts coming up. And that is just like, oh no, oh no, what's happening? Where are we going? What's coming? And that's just how it sounded to me. So there are a couple low parts that are all doing slightly different jobs. The bass somewhat boring, except for the fact that I am following this line. I'm actually making that part of the bass. Let's hear let the uh bass show that. Right. Might be easier to hear that with the guitar part that is also doing that, and that's this one. Hold on. I think this one does that. That comes later. Hold on a second. I'm looking for this one. Here we go. Yeah, this does the walk. The walk. So it just never stops. Keeps coming up. Going up. Feel like Mickey Mouse from the Sorcerer's Apprentice, just bringing stuff up, and then it's just like horrific how far it comes up. So you may be able to hear that this is octave shifted. Playing the low note and shifting it up because it is octaves and it does keep coming up, and it just never. I don't even think my guitar can reach that highest note, so the pitch shifting. Yeah, that was the measure behind there. All right, so there's the climb, but the thing is, if I just climb, all of a sudden I've got no bass left. So that is what that other guitar part does. This is just da, ba, 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 just that's just Godzilla in the water. Once we get here, I need something rhythmic, and so that's where this chug starts. So I should. Right. Oh, whoops, that shouldn't be there. So yeah, at the very end, drop the chug, just drive that bottom note as hard as I can because it's the only intensity that I have left. Okay, let's talk treble now because the vocals are out. All that we have now are these really nice clusters of notes. Now, they're also part of the build, but they are also kind of like ooh, what's going on here? It's a little weird, it's a little misty. And so I am doing a, soft atmospheric tone at first. Then you'll hear notes are just as notated. Right. Here comes a new sound. Listen, got like a rotary thing, adding to like the weirdness. This chord is weird. I love it. Full tones. All right, cool. And this other one, just again, we're just trying to add to the cacophony, the intensity of the what's coming, and following those same notes, but just playing them tremolo. Here we go. Neck pickup. I did jump an octave right at the end there. I wasn't able to keep ascending because I just ran out of uh, frets on the neck. So yeah, this is the single biggest, most epic, like twisted, nasty, gnarly build in the whole thing. I love this part so much. And we're just going up and up and up and up and up. And eventually we're going to go off of a cliff. And that is exactly where we go in this next thing. In order to capture that, like, whoa, I just went off a cliff feeling, I put that into the bass and I use a synth bass, just like dropped it an octave, and then you'll hear it right here. Again, it's even like, written in, there's like big thing, but there's a rest. And then everything else comes in. I am awfully sure that I got the ID, like I was picking up some feeling from something in the Interstellar soundtrack for that. Just like a big massive like oh no like kind of thing. And that bass hits first and then it's answered by, the chords the same way I played them back in like the Emo part. Again, not really doing anything from the score here. I'm not taking it rhythmically. I just want it to be so big. Again, like the words here, let them be ashamed, right? Qu'ils soient confondus, like this is just like crying out, to God here, just real big and bold. So, big meaty power chords, yummy, yummy. And the spread triads, same way I always play them. These are D minor, C major. Ooh. That keeps going this time. I don't want to keep descending, so I'm gonna pull up because the next one is a different mood, but we'll get to that. The keys, again, using organ to make it real Oop, hold on. I wasn't supposed to do that. Using organ to make it sound as massive as I can. 808. Do you hear that 808 kick in there? Listen for it. Anyway, that's again just to make it as hard as want my music to punch you in the face. I'm very violent and angry. Yeah, all right. Vocally got some harmonies on the first one, bigger harmonies on the second one, but then end on a solo voice. Got to grow and then come back.
Qu'ils soient confondus.
That is not an easy vowel to sing high on, by the way.
Et qui recule. Tu sais qui haïssent Sion.
Right. So the music does kind of retreat there. Here's where it goes. I call this section a curse because it's praying, let them be as the grass upon the housetops, which withereth before it groweth up. Yeah, that's asking God to curse your enemies. Um, I guess that's metal. Anyway, so the bass line is kind of like walking down. It is a bit like right? Because it's leading to another build. So walk down. Eventually, we're going to get down to the bottom. Where are we? Here we go. That's the last build. And it's a good one. So what's going on guitar wise? So because the lyrics are a bit more sinister here, like it's a curse. Um, and the music is kind of pulling back a little bit before it charges ahead again with that build. I wanted the guitar to feel just a little sneaky, right? So I took these notes and palm muted them so they sound like this. Right? So now we're just going to start this. On that note, after I finished recording this and started putting this together, I noticed this little three. I didn't realize these were supposed to be triplets. I think at the time I thought they were supposed to be straight quarter notes. So that's why the rhythm changed there. Whoops. I guess that's what my version is now. Anyway, so there are still some higher notes here. It's notated here. It's almost like a winding secondary melody of some kind. It sounds like this. And I think we join the no, we don't join the build there. This is the same thing, just a slightly different tone. I think this one's a bit more icy. The other one is warmer. Oh no, this so same notes, just just a little stronger. Now that build, right? Has some other notes in it. This one starts low. I wanted to have the biggest range possible. So I'm starting down low in an F sharp and then joining up. You'll notice that some of these are triplets and some of these are just quarter notes. So there's like you know, a thing going on, and this has the duplets in it as well. Love the way that delay washes away. Only thing I haven't done yet is the vocals. It's pretty basic. I don't think there's much on. I don't even remember if there's any harmony on it. Is there? I did try to, match
Qu'ils soient comme l'herbe des toits.
Yeah, I hear it down an octave on that.
Qui sèche vent qu'on ne l'arrache.
Okay, yeah, there was a lower octave on that. I think that is such a crazy composing decision to have this really high forte note here as the music just disappears and then comes back. It's almost like the ocean receding before it comes back in with the tsunami. I just love that. And then the intensity is over and we get one of the most beautiful sections of music, which of course I've called heaven because how could I not? It measures 85 to the end. The original version does have this first part a little bit more forward and intense, but I've backed them both off and they're awfully consistent. I don't need to play the entire thing because it's kind of the whole thing the whole way through. I do bring the bass back because finally it's time for the fretless bass again. So hopefully this is nice and low and warm. But it goes all the way down to G, which is just gorgeous. I don't go down yet. Oh, so slippy slidey, right? E flat A, up. Not going to go down to G until we're section, but there is a transition here. I'll listen to it slide. But it's not picked again, just slide. Not yet. Not that low G yet. Saving that. Here we go. That's low G and high G, right? So that low note is there. Finally got it. All right. Not going to play that whole thing because it's just going back and forth between G and E flat. The power chords, again, we're off the high gain now. This is growl time. Just not like it's just pull back. I don't know why I did that with my voice. That was fun though. So neck pickups gain down a bit. I think there is some high gains just now. It's just that the whole time. It's as mildly suggestive of metal as possible. It's crackling, but it's not a roaring fire. It's embers. And that keeps going. I said G before the E. Anyway, yeah, enough of that. That that is just the foundation. The real gorgeous part, the four-part harmonies are back. Oh, they're so gorgeous. And this one, I was uh perhaps the most complex with how I arranged it. Again, four notes recorded separately. And what I would do is I would take of the four notes, I'd take two of them in the left channel and two of them in the right channel, ramp them together, right? As if I had played those two notes like at the same time so that they interact with each other and then switch which notes it was with a different tone. So it like every note is everywhere, but it's all mixed in so complexly that it's very atmospheric. Um and so it sounds like this. If I can get this one to play. So that's the warm sounding one. Here's the icy sounding one. And those being atmospheric, here's like the, main one, I guess, if that makes any sense. But you can really hear the guitar, like the pick in it. All right, let's schedule another section of this to hear how it's a little different. It does climb here. Treble clef, right? So pretty. Oh my gosh. All right. Here's the real sweetness where it's just going back and forth here. Lower octave. Now, I did make a change. Perhaps you noticed. This is notated as triplets, but that didn't work with the rhythm of like, the percussion and everything. So I made it, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It seems fine. It goes with it nicely. And just everything just, oh, nice and gorgeous and heavenly like that. Just two more layers and then I'm through. Keys and vocals. I'm gonna do the keys first. Now I had some organ in here previously, but it was like full stops, like big organ. This time, this is I think the setting that I had it on was called like ballad B or it's a much more organ, right? And it sounds like this. Oh, there's also a synth pad, so they're panned so you can hear them separately. The volume is really low, so you might have to turn it up or listen carefully to hear it. Hopefully, you can also hear me, like cranking up the speed of the rotary cabinet because I want it to be like really, oh, just so sweet. Let me see what it sounds like at the end here. Seriously, just one of the most gorgeous passages in music. All right, vocally, the time for screaming, the time for yelling is over. This is just sweetness. Now, I know contextually when it says, like, we bless you in the name of the Lord, that sounds sweet, but actually it's saying, may no one say that to them, because this is still part of the curse. But the music is so gorgeous. Just whatever. This is the sweet part. So vocally, we're still supposed to be singing forte up an octave, but because I'm backing this off and sweetening it, what I did was I've got main melody down an octave and then panned all the harmonies just up an octave. So it's kind of like low singing with a high, I don't know, aftertaste.
Le laboreur n'en remplit point sa main. C'est lui qui lit les gestes.
Now, the next section, I reverse that. That is, the lead goes up an octave and the harmony comes down the octave. So both octaves are still present. It's just a matter of which one's in front. Let me see if I can get to that. Here we go.
Que la bénédiction de l'Éternel soit avec vous.
Got a little tone cluster there. That's D, E, F, G, A. All five of those notes on that harmony here. Wow,
De l'Éternel soit avec vous. Nous vous bénissons au nom de l'Éternel.
Right, adding in those chords. There is like a mixed choir doing that in the original, but here it's just me. All right, one It is, uh, I mean, my gosh. All right. Last thing. Oh, sorry. Last thing musically is that little, I don't remember which guitar part that's in. That might be in this one. Maybe. All right. Never mind. Not gonna look for that. You can hear it pretty clearly. Anyway, wow. That was a lot. If if that's not useful, if that's not interesting, that means you're not watching, and I don't actually need to talk to you. It's fine. But I absolutely just fell in love with this song, with this composer, and I just could not help but make something, and just taking the time to like dig in, actually like take a look at everything critically, pick it up, turn around, analyze it. It was a fantastic experience. I want to do more of this. And just to have this experience was absolutely fantastic. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. If you think that I've catastrophically ruined a masterpiece, I'm very sorry. But at least you can tell that I at least tried to do my homework. Maybe I had the wrong notebook, but I tried. Okay, so as with everything that or most things I think that I make, I want to host all of the things I've recorded, dry guitar tracks, guitar tracks, all separated out in a folder that's available to my patrons. If that's something that you would like to have access to for some reason, if it's not there now, it should be there soon. Otherwise, again, thank you so much for any attention at all that you've given to this. If you've learned something about the song or the composer or just how arrangements get made or how I make them, hey, that's great. But I don't even know how long this video is. I just want to stop. I'm tired now. Have how am I supposed to end a video? Bye. You like that?